Hello everyone, James Wilson here, and I know that this video is definitely overdue I should say, so thank you for your patience, especially Samuel who requested this a long time ago. I've been very busy with doing a lot of different stuff. So we're going to get into analyzing the Virginia governor race. I'm going to take a look at trends and see exactly what's going on. I'm going to compare it to other races as well and see what direction this country is really going into. I see things a little bit differently than a lot of other people. When I compare a Virginia governor race, or any governor race for that matter, I like to compare it to a similar race. I don't want to necessarily compare it to the 2020 election, even though I am going to compare some of the numbers in the 2020 election. I'm not really going to compare the trends though, okay? And I'm going to explain to you why. But one thing I am going to do is I am going to compare it to the 2009 Virginia governor race. And the reason why I'm doing that is because, as we all know, Obama won in 2008. He took over Republican Republican President George W. Bush. And the same thing happened in 2020 when Biden beat out Donald Trump, and the Virginia 2021 race was, a year after the Democrat actually won the election. So that's actually a better comparison and to see how the state is really trending. When you look at trends, you can't compare it to two totally different elections. You got to compare it to similar elections. And anytime a Republican wins that was not in power previously, or vice versa, the opposite party typically wins in an off-year election. Everyone knows that. So, you can say 1994 when Bill Clinton won, and then the House, it was the Contract for America, or whatever you call it, with Newt Gingrich. Absolutely tore him up. Obama in 2010 got torn up as well. And so Republicans gained a lot. But when you look at those races, you would notice that the turnout is much lower. So that's not actually, it's kind of hard to say, but it's not actually the real, you having less people in the process because they're not as educated in the political process, or they don't care, but they vote for president. So you have more educated people, more people that know more about the issues voting in off-year elections compared to presidential elections. The clientele is much higher for off-year elections, and that's just the way it is, because in presidential elections the media blows everything up and tries to get everyone to vote Democrat usually. And so you have these massive quantities of votes, and I'm going to talk about that in this video. But first, let me just talk about why Gunkin won. Simple answer is because he was the better candidate. I did predict McAuliffe to win, and I'm not going to say it on YouTube, but I feel may have been some stuff that could be going on and give him a win. So mail-ins or whatever you want to call it, I thought the mail-ins was going to favor him. And it did not, but it was close. When you look at these numbers, it's only a 1.9% difference. So when you have think about this, folks. When you have a candidate that basically says, I don't care what the parents think about the kid's education. It's not up to them to decide what goes on in the classroom. Parents are worthless. That's the message that he was saying. That parents are worthless. And he only lost by 1.9%. Think about that, folks. He only lost by 1.9%. He ran a terrible campaign. Yunken won almost a perfect campaign, and he can only beat him by 1.9%. Why is that? That's a little bit weird in my opinion. But when you compare it, you've got to compare it to the election, the last governor election after the Democrats took control of the presidency. You have to, when you're looking at trends, you have to compare it to the last election when that happened, and that was in 2009. So the 2009 governor race, you can see that the Republican McDonald is absolutely tore deeds up. He won by 16.7%. I don't remember this election. I was probably 28 years old at the time. I mean, I still voted, but look at the amount of votes. 818,000 votes. You move on to 2021, it almost doubled, folks, for the Democrats. And the Republicans, they still gain more votes. These are off-year elections. Off-year elections, but you can tell it's trending to the left. And yes, everyone is saying this, besides me, that Virginia is trending to the right. I don't agree with that. You cannot compare a presidential election with a midterm election. One thing that I have noticed, and I'm going to read some numbers to you, and I'll pull this up real quick here. This is old school here. You will see these numbers that trended to the left by 14.8% when you compare it. You got to compare these two elections. You can't compare any other election. You got to compare it when the Democrats took over. Look at that. That's very, very interesting. Number of votes. Look at this. In 2009, 1,982,601. 2021, 3,263,636. That's a difference of 1,281,000 votes. But that's not all, folks. You compare it to 2020, 4,460,524 votes. That's a difference of 1,196,888 votes. My question is, where are the votes coming from? Where are the votes coming from? Let me give you an example here. The only smart people will understand this. People that actually get numbers and stuff like that. These are the ones that are going to understand. So one of the big metropolitan areas is Alexandria County. And when you look at it, McAuliffe got 73,000 votes. Yunken, 21,000 votes. When you look at 2020 presidential election, same county, Joe Biden got 32,000 more votes. Trump got maybe 1,000. And if you compare these little inky-dinky Lee County, I'm going to compare it because this is very, very interesting. So, looking at the numbers. In Arlington County, Trump got 22,318, the Biden's 105,344. 2021, next year, not that much longer, folks. 1 year later, the Republican lost 770 votes. So Trump had 770 more votes in Arlington County, which is a hugely populated county. Biden got 32,331 more votes than McAuliffe. Think about that, folks. Let's compare it to little rinky-dink Lee County, where Trump got 8,365 votes, and Yunken only got 6,372. Trump had 1,993 more votes in a rinky-dinky county. More votes, almost 3 times the amount of votes in a rinky-dinky county compared to a huge metropolitan area. I find that interesting. Look at this. Biden in Lee County got 1,489,000 votes. 1,489 votes. But in 2021, McAuliffe only got 882 votes. That's it. So Biden got 607 more votes than McAuliffe. So Biden was so close to Trump, he actually got more votes in the rural areas. And so there's less voting, but there's way more voting here. I find that very, very interesting. So, why did Yunken win? And why was it so close? It shouldn't have been a 1.9% win, folks. I'm just telling you. Either America is becoming dumber and dumber by the day, or there was fraud. Yunken was clearly the better candidate. McAuliffe literally said that he wants to control your life. He doesn't care what the parents think. He literally said that in the debate. And he ran a terrible campaign. He didn't campaign anywhere. He didn't really campaign much. Yunken was all over the place, from what I hear. So what's going on? When you look at these voting differences, it's incredible. 2009, less than 2 million votes casted. 2020, 4,460,000 votes casted. 2021, 3,263,000 votes casted. You can't make this stuff up, folks. I'm just telling you right now. These numbers don't make a lot of sense to me. If it just does not. It just does not. So, that's all I can say. Honestly, that's all I can say. I can look at these past elections. Why did Yunken win? He was definitely the better candidate. He won Virginia Beach, for crying out loud. But McAuliffe still won a lot of these counties. And I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Maybe I'm stupid. I don't understand how you get these huge variants of votes. We must be really, really stupid as overall as a nation. When you have 4.4 almost 4.5 million votes casted in the presidential election, and like 3.2 million votes or so casted in the governor race, that's a lot of that's a huge, like a 1.2 million vote difference. Where are the votes? That is the biggest question that I have in Virginia, and as I said, it's a big question that I have everywhere, because it's a big deal to me when you compare 2009 versus 2021. I know more people are voting, and that makes logical sense, but when you look at less than 2 million, and then 12 years later, you have almost 1.3 million more votes in the governor race. That's a lot of votes, folks. That's a lot. And giving this race, it was so razor thin a very close race. It shouldn't have been close. I mean, when someone says that they don't care, and I know I'm repeating myself, but at the end of the day, when someone says I don't care what the parents think, and this guy, you know, he's not abrasive like Trump was, and he was a, quote unquote good guy. Well, guess what? Trump got more votes than he did. That's a fact. Trump got over 300,000 more votes than Yunkin did. Let that sink in your head, folks. Yunkin got about 330,000 less votes than Trump did. Yeah, please let that sink in your mind, people. There's a lot of stuff going on that I'm very, very suspicious about. I'm just telling you right now. When you have, the Democrat getting over 800,000 less votes than Biden did. McCall got 800,000 less votes than Biden did. And we all know Biden wasn't a great candidate. But, I mean, just the sheer amount of voting. And this has been going on for a while. It really makes me feel that if it's not rigged, there's a lot of stupid people. And I still believe that. There's a lot of dumb people out there. They'll vote in a presidential election because they listen to the media. The media blows everything up, blow everything up, And then Yunkin, what he did was, compared to the presidential election, I will have to say, assuming everything is legit, he pacified the Democratic vote. That's how he won. Period. When you have over 800,000 less people vote for that particular party, a year later, you're doing something right. You're pacifying the vote. And that's exactly what Yunkin did, because Yunkin didn't have more votes than Trump. Trump beat him by 330,000 votes. There's just a lot less voting compared to the presidential election. But what's just odd is there's still way less voting in 2009. So that tells you a couple of things. Either something as fishy is going on, or there's just a lot more people that are interested in the political process. And why is that? Free stuff. They want free stuff. They want all this stuff from the government. And then you have the Yunkin people. We need to, as I said, he didn't vote because of the rural area. He didn't win because of the rural areas. He didn't win because of these areas. Trump outvoted him. He won because of counties like Arlington County getting only 73,000 votes, compared to Arlington County in the presidential election getting 105,000 votes. Look at this. Fairfax County, almost 420,000 votes for Biden. Okay? Look at this. 286,000. I'm doing the math quickly in my head. That's a lot of votes. That's a difference of about 135,000 votes in one county. Think about that, folks. Is that possible? Is that possible that in Fairfax you have almost 420,000 votes for the Democrat, but when you go into the governor's race, it's 286,000. Is that possible? I guess it is, but it's it doesn't make any sense to me. That's 135,000 more votes. And so Yunkin got 152,000. Trump got 168,000. So that's really about 16,000 more votes in Fairfax County for Trump. So Trump still outbeat Yunkin in votes. Okay. It just tells, assuming that all of this is legit. Now everyone's talking about Loudoun County. Joe Biden, 138,000. McCall, 89,000. 89,000 versus 138. That's a huge difference. That's about 50,000 votes. So he pacified the Democratic vote is what he did. He pacified it. So I mean, I mean, as I said, I know this video is going kind of long now. But is it possible to have these voting differences? This is huge disparity, especially in Fairfax County, where you have so many more votes casted in 2020 compared to 2021, which is a lot less. So, but that's my spew. Why did he win? He was the better candidate. Period. He didn't want. He doesn't want government control in your lives, and. The Democrats still got 1.6 million votes by saying, "I don't care what the parents think." He's still almost won, which is hysterical, you know, because when you look at 2009, Republican absolutely demolished him. And as I said, I don't remember the race, but the Republican absolutely demolished him. So that's that, man. That's all I have for today. Better candidate, ran a better campaign. McAuliffe ran a horrible campaign. And this is what you get, a 1.9% win squeaker in favor of the Republican. Perfect campaign, horrible campaign, and still was able to pull it within 2 points. Like and subscribe to my channel. Any comments would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.